PR Connections Radio presents.
Welcome to Vegas Hockey Hub here on PRConnectionsRadio.com, the voice of new media. I'm your host, Ian Kelly. And on this edition of Vegas Hockey Hub Recap, where we break down every single game of the Vegas Golden Knights 2023-2024 season, it is time, and it is finally a good situation to talk about, as it is playoff time for your Vegas Golden Knights. This is your Game 1 recap here on Vegas Hockey Hub Recap, and this is going to be a fantastic episode. There's a lot of ups, a few downs, but overall, very happy situation right here as your Vegas Golden Knights are in the playoffs taking on the Dallas Stars. Now, go to PRConnectionsRadio.com, the voice of new media. Check out all of the fantastic content we have on the network. We have about a dozen shows on here, including Vegas Hockey Hub. So go to the website, www.prconnectionsradio.com. And if you also want to subscribe to their YouTube channel and help out the network at PR Connections. While you're doing that, if you want to go to the Vegas Hockey Hub YouTube channel at Vegas Hockey Hub, we are on all social media platforms, and we upload exclusive content to certain websites. So I highly recommend going to all our social media platforms. And if you want to follow your host, I'm on social media as well at Ian J. Kelly. So this is a really good episode. I want to say, by the way, thanks to our network sponsor, paidperletter.com. So go to the website and use the underscore Uncle Dan to get started today. I appreciate paidperletter.com for coming on board. Now, your Vegas Golden Knights getting into the playoffs. Now, there's a lot of question marks and a lot of stuff that was going to be going into this game, but it was addressed very early and really quickly heading into this game, because during the pregame notes, a few updates for your Vegas Golden Knights. Now, your host, Ian Kelly, Vegas Hockey Hub, we went to the morning skate the Sunday before the Vegas Golden Knights would depart and head to Dallas on Monday. And at the morning skate, you would see a few updates that are very crucial for your Vegas Golden Knights. Now, the first one is that fact that your captain, Mark Stone, he would be cleared, he would be good to go, and more importantly, for Mark Stone, he would be in a Game 1, suiting up and playing for your Vegas Golden Knights. So that was fantastic news heading into this Game 1. The fact that you had your captain, someone who the Vegas Golden Knights need in that locker room, someone who has the respect of everybody on this team, and someone who really helps guide the young guys and the veterans kind of rely on when he's on the ice. Incredible player, Mark Stone, fantastic, top 50 player in the league, hands down. But Mark Stone coming back, him wearing the regular jersey in practice, and then being back in the starting lineup on the top 6 for Vegas, that is a stellar job there. Now on the bottom 6, Anthony Mantha, after him getting hurt in the last 2 games of the regular season, he would be cleared and be able to return for your Vegas Golden Knights. He would be on the 3rd line, and we'll go over the starting lineup later in the show. And then William Carrier, the misfit of the Vegas Golden Knights, he would be back on the 4th line. So after missing a good considerable amount of time, he has been gone since March 25th. William Carrier back in the starting lineup for Vegas Golden Knights. Now, defensively, not many changes here. In fact, you would have the usual core of your defense. But the question that everyone had on their mind moving forward is who was going to be the starting goalie, who was going to be in net for Vegas in the Game 1. But then when we saw Logan Thompson getting onto the ice first, that was kind of a clear indication that Logan Thompson would be your starting goaltender for Game 1. And indeed, he would be announced the morning of Game 1 as your starting goaltender. So Logan Thompson, really good there. His first playoff appearance, by the way, last year he got hurt, and it was Brisebois and Hill who was in the playoffs last year for Vegas. So a really good milestone in his career. The former All-Star for the Vegas Golden Knights, Logan Thompson, making his playoff debut for your Vegas Golden Knights. Now, on to the actual game itself. Now, Mark Stone, he has a lot of interesting stuff happening. And more importantly, social media was barking up a storm about Mark Stone coming back. You had people from all over, TSN, Sportsnet. You had people from Canada all complaining and moaning and groaning about Mark Stone coming back. But my only response is it against the rules? Show me in the NHL where it is against the rules to have a long-term IR. More importantly, I want someone to break this down for me, and I haven't really said much about this situation, but now is time to do it. You really think that somebody would actually miss 26 games and have a team barely make the playoffs if he's faking an injury? Like, the people in Canada, you realize how dumb that argument is, right? The fact that you have a guy who thinks that he purposely faked an injury so that he wouldn't be on the ice. The guy who's a leader in the locker room. A guy who's a captain for Vegas. And there's some people saying that he faked an injury. And then there's, some idiot on NHL on TNT. I'm not going to say his name. He doesn't even deserve his name being mentioned. But, this guy, he bashes Vegas every single time. Yeah, he's a Toronto Maple Leafs fan. I mean, what have they done recently? But still, when it comes to the Mark Stone situation, I find it very laughable that there are people out there who are trying to justify, they're trying to sit here and criticize and everything like that. And I sit here and I really look at it and go, A, tell me where they broke a rule, and B, your logic does not make sense when you realize who Mark Stone is. Mark Stone wants to play all 82 games if he can. This is somebody who loves the game of hockey. This is somebody who wants to play every single night. And the fact that there are people who are saying that he would purposely miss games so the Vegas Golden Knights would get under the cap, I look at it as a very false argument. And to me, it's very laughable of an argument. Now, is Mark Stone somebody who does get injured every once in a while? Yes. And more importantly, the NHL is the most physical sport out of the big four. When it comes to baseball, basketball, football, and hockey, it doesn't even come close in terms of actual physicality. When it comes to the brutality on your body every single game, the NHL is the toughest and honestly one of the most brutal sports you can play. So for Mark Stone, I'm just going to end this here by saying for the people who are trying to make an argument that Mark Stone faked an injury, you sound really foolish. And more importantly, you sound like you really don't understand who Mark Stone is. And I'm out here in Vegas. I see what Mark Stone does for the organization. And more importantly, with Mark Stone, I see the impact he has in that locker room. He is someone who's an impact player. He has that it factor for Vegas. So when it comes to Mark Stone, it's to me a really bad argument. And once again, there are people who are going to continue to say it. They're going to continue to talk about it. And I'm just going to keep putting my hands up and saying, all right, if you're saying he faked an injury, I want some evidence of that. And then secondly, if you say that it's about the whole cap situation, show me the rule book and show me how Vegas didn't do what Tampa Bay did when they went back-to-back, when Chicago had their dynasty, when Pittsburgh went back-to-back. What's the difference? Now, getting into the starting lineup for this game. So, getting into the starting lineup for your Vegas Golden Knights in Game 1. Now, your first line for the forwards, you would have Ivan Barbashev at left wing, Jack Eichel at center, and Jonathan Marchessault at right wing. So, you have a situation where you have one of the most dependable first lines in the NHL. We have seen the chemistry of Jack Eichel and Jonathan Marchessault when they're on the ice. Two elite goal scorers on your Vegas Golden Knights. And then Ivan Barbashev, who has stepped up and carried his weight at times. So that first line, really solid there for the Vegas Golden Knights. And it's a situation where when you really analyze it, that first line is sneakily deadly. I mean, this is an organization that has a first line that is among one of the best in the NHL. And then the second line is somehow even better. You have Chandler Stevenson at left wing. You have Tomas Hertl at center. and you have Mark Stone at right wing. And this is a lineup that some people would wish they had. I know some people are jealous of the fact that Vegas Golden Knights have a second line like this. The fact that you have Hurdle, you have Stevenson, and you have Stone. You have three guys who can shoot the puck and deliver when need be. You have Chandler Stevenson, who's one of the best guys in order to getting the puck to somebody else. If you need somebody to rack up a bunch of assists, Chandler Stevenson's that guy. Hurdle, we have seen what he's done in the playoffs before. He has been a playoff hero in San Jose. He even did it against Vegas a couple of years ago, so we know what he can do. And then Mark Stone. I mean, I've already sung his praises already on this show. You know who he is. It's very happy to have Mark Stone back on this starting lineup for your Vegas Golden Knights. Third line is a very interesting situation there. You have Brett Howden at left wing. You have William Karlsson at center and Anthony Mantha at right wing. So Brett Howden, he comes in over Michael Amadio. He goes in over Pavel Dorofeev. There were some people who were questioning it. There were some people who were kind of looking at it differently on social media. But in terms of defense, in terms of playoff experience, I understand why Brett Howden went in. If a lot of people don't remember, last year, Brett Howden had a really solid playoff series as he was actually with Stevenson and Stone on that line last year. So Brett Howden, due to the defense and playoff experience at left wing. At center, you have William Karlsson, the 30-goal scorer this season for Vegas. And then at right wing, you have Anthony Mantha. This guy, 20-goal scorer and a good defensive-minded guy you can have on the lineup. And then your fourth line has actually been a constant over the last couple of years, and they are now back for the playoffs. At left wing, you have an original misfit in William Carrier. At center, you have Nick Waugh. And at right wing, you have Keegan Kolesar. So once again, they are back together, that fourth line. They've been, for the last 4 or 5 years, kind of been as a good unit. The chemistry's there. The line does pretty well. William Carrier, despite him having some injury issues and concerns, we know what he can do in the playoffs. He has been a steady hand for Vegas over the last couple of years. Nick Waugh scored about a dozen goals this year for Vegas, and that's really good for a fourth-line center to be able to do. And, you know, when you really sit here and analyze that in the whole Nick Waugh situation, yeah, really good job there. And then Keegan Kolesar, a good body to have, someone who can, you know, use his size and use his ability to get under people's skin. And more importantly, if you need somebody to drop the gloves or defend a teammate here or there, Keegan Kolesar, one of the best to do it. So that fourth line, who we've definitely talked about on this show, in fact, that was one of our most recent episodes, was breaking down the fourth line, how valuable it is to your Vegas Golden Knights. And William Carrier, Nick Waugh, Keegan Kolesar, one of the best fourth lines in the NHL in terms of production. But we broke that down on a completely different show. So, you know, when you sit here and you study the starting lineup for Vegas, defensively, I'm going to go over that very quickly. Pietrangelo and Hanifin, defensive pairing number 1. Defensive pairing number 2, McNabb and Theodore. Then your third defensive pairing, Zach Whitecloud and Nick Hague. So overall, the Vegas Golden Knights, a really good starting lineup. I mean, this is a starting lineup that I definitely would say has more positives and then only a few negatives. Okay, if you wanted to sit there and rotate certain lineups and swap people in and out, go as you please. But Bruce Cassidy is a Stanley Cup winning coach. He's someone who's been here and done it. I trust Bruce Cassidy just like I trust George McPhee, just like I trust Kelly McCrimmon, just like I trust Bill Foley. These people know what they're doing. That's why the Vegas Golden Knights won a cup last year. So getting into the actual game itself at the Dallas American Airlines Center out there. And to begin the game, not even half a minute into this game, you would have a high sticking penalty on Sam Steele. So the Dallas Stars would go to the box, and your Vegas Golden Knights would be on the power play to begin the first period of the game 1. And if you need someone to make an impact, right? if you need someone to score on the power play and send a message to the entire NHL, who do you think it would be? Who would be that person that would relay a message that I am back and I am here in the playoffs? Well, of course, that would be Mark Stone. As Mark Stone on the power play, first minute of the first period, he would get it past Jake Ottinger for his first goal of the 2024 Stanley Cup playoffs, assisted by Jack Eichel and Noah Hanifin. So that's a really stellar message, and it's something that I really kind of sat here and applauded, and I smiled with a huge smile on my face. The fact that Mark Stone comes back, scores the opening goal for Vegas, and sets the tone early in this game. That Vegas is going to be explosive on offense, and this is going to be a very tough game for Dallas. Now, fast forwarding a little bit into this game, after a couple minutes go by and a Nick Wass slashing penalty against Jamie Benn, that would be killed off, and the Vegas Golden Knights would be 1-for-1 on the penalty kill in the 2024 Stanley Cup playoffs to begin this game one. About halfway into the first period, the Vegas Golden Knights would get on the board once again. They would light up the lamp, and who else but Jonathan Marchessault with his first goal of the 2024 Stanley Cup playoffs, picking up from what he did last year, and that was the Conn Smythe Trophy winner as your playoff MVP this past playoff. He continues that. He continues a great 2023-2024 season by getting a goal in the Stanley Cup playoffs. Good job by Jonathan Marchessault. That was a good setup by Ivan Barbashev in order to create this play. And just like that, your Vegas Golden Knights are up 2-0 on the Dallas Stars. And that's just a fantastic way to create this game. Just an amazing opportunity by the Vegas Golden Knights to execute and do exactly what they needed to do to establish the tone. And I am very happy to say that when it comes to your Vegas Golden Knights, they capitalized in this game. You know, when you have certain opportunities and you go up against one of the best goaltenders this past season in Jake Ottinger, you have to create your opportunities. And considering the only 15 shots the Vegas Golden Knights had on net, they took advantage and they capitalized on certain opportunities. Jonathan Marchessault in this situation, and then it's the first goal in the first minute of the game. Mark Stone, he did that as well. So Vegas Golden Knights be up 2-0 on the Dallas Stars by the halfway point of the first period. Now, something interesting would happen about 4 minutes left in the first period. Now, Shea Theodore, I have to call this out. Shea Theodore had a really bad turnover, and it created a 2-on-1 situation. Wyatt Johnston and Jamie Benn, they would skate down from the neutral zone into the offensive zone for them. The Golden Knights would be on an odd man rush. They couldn't capitalize on it. Logan Thompson in a really bad spot. And Jamie Benn, the captain of the Dallas Stars, would score his first goal of the playoffs. It would be a 2-1 game. Look, this is just simply on Shea Theodore. This was just a really bad situation. He caused a very costly turnover, and the Dallas Stars ended up taking advantage of it. So I don't blame Logan Thompson for it. I really do not blame Brayden McNabb. He did all he could. But overall, Shea Theodore, I look at his really sloppy puck handling as for why that happened. But the Vegas Golden Knights would capitalize about 1 minute later as Mason Marchment would have a high sticking penalty against Shea Theodore. He would go to the box, and your Vegas Golden Knights would be on the power play for the second time in this game. And man, oh man, your Vegas Golden Knights would take advantage of this, as not even half a minute into the power play, Tomas Hertl with his first goal of the 2024 Stanley Cup playoffs, assisted by Noah Hanifin, his second assist of this game. And just like that, 2 power play goals on the first period for Vegas, and that would be a 3-1 game for Vegas. So overall, that was a fantastic setup, and I really appreciate the fact that you had a second line in Hertl and Stone who scored 2 of the first 3 goals. it really helped the Vegas Golden Knights understand that this top six is deadly. This top six is why they scored their first 3 goals. Marchessault, Stone, and Hertl. So Vegas Golden Knights, I really like what they did in the first period. Outside of the Shea Theodore turnover, that was just the one bad thing that did happen in this game. But overall, this was a really good game from start to finish for your Vegas Golden Knights. And in the first period, that was a good establishing moment there. Now, towards the end of the first period, Jason Robertson would get a goal as he would get a good assist from Logan Stankoven, and it would be a 3-2 game for the Dallas Stars. Now, now, I really don't blame anybody for this. This was just a bang-bang situation in the neutral zone. Stankoven, he stole the puck. It was just a situation that happened. Jason Robertson, he would go down the ice. He would get past Logan Thompson with a good backhand, and he would score for Dallas. But overall, the first period, Vegas would be up 3-2, and that would really be able to help the Vegas Golden Knights get to where they needed to be. Now, for the second period, the only penalty would be a Zach Whitecloud holding penalty towards the first couple of minutes of this game. Now, the Vegas Golden Knights, for the second time in this game, would kill off a penalty kill. So you have to give credit to the special teams for Vegas. They stepped up in this game. They were 2 for 2 on the penalty kill and 2 for 2 on the power play. So special teams really did what they needed to do in this game, and that was be efficient for Vegas. You know who else was efficient for Vegas? Your host's favorite player. My favorite player on the Vegas Golden Knights is Nabber defenseman Brayden McNabb, and he would get his first goal of the Stanley Cup playoffs as he would nail it past Jake Ottinger to make it a 4-2 game for your Vegas Golden Knights, assisted by Jack Eichel. So Jack Eichel with his second point of this game, and more importantly, you have Brayden McNabb, who really helped increase the lead for the Vegas Golden Knights. Now, the only other notable moment that happened in the second period for your Vegas Golden Knights was an opportunity to score, and this is actually a really interesting moment. If it just went a little bit lower, I think they actually had a chance of scoring at this situation. Now, what I'm talking about is that in the second period, Jonathan Marchessault, he had his stick, he was in the right slot, and when he was trying to get past Ottinger, he just aimed a little bit too high, and it went over the net. Now, if it had just been a little bit lower, and considering the positioning of Jake Ottinger, that would have been a goal if Jonathan Marchessault had aimed just a tad bit lower, because when he did, it went right over Jake Ottinger, it went over the net, and it went towards the backboards. So for the Vegas Golden Knights, that was actually another situation to score in the second period. Did not happen, but that's good news. Vegas Golden Knights 4, and the Dallas Stars would be 2 by that point. And getting into the third period, the Vegas Golden Knights would have no penalties in this situation. The Vegas Golden Knights are playing conservatively. We were all noticing that. And then halfway into the third period, Mason Marchment with his first goal of the 2024 Stanley Cup playoffs for the Dallas Stars. And just like that, the Vegas Golden Knights would have their lead decreased by 1. So it would be a 4-3 situation halfway into the third period. And Dallas was becoming more physical. They were trying to get more aggressive. You could tell that there was more pounding into the boards, more physicality as the game was going on. But I can appreciate the discipline of your Vegas Golden Knights, because the discipline of this team is what helped your Vegas Golden Knights not fall into a trap. The discipline allowed your Vegas Golden Knights to not sit there and become a trapped team and not analyze that situation. So overall, I really sit here and applaud Bruce Cassidy and the special teams in general, because Vegas Golden Knights did what they had to do to pick up a victory here. As with about 2 minutes left, the Dallas Stars would pull their goaltender. It would be an empty net situation. Funny enough, Mark Stone actually had a chance to score an empty netter. It just went wide right and would become an icing for Vegas. But yeah, when it was shooting down the ice, a lot of people at the casino that I was at, we all kind of rose up thinking it was going to be a goal. It just went wide. By the way, I appreciate Santa Fe Hotel and Casino, by the way. If anyone wants to go to a sports book and watch this, I would say go to Circa, Stadium Swim, Santa Fe. I know Caesars has sports book. MGM has a sports book. If you can find a way to go to a place that you are able to watch as many games as possible, I highly recommend it. Because that's what we did. We were at the sports book. We were having a great time. I sat there. I had my drink. I had my food. And I was having a fantastic time watching this game. So once again, I appreciate people at Circa, at the Stadium Swim for hosting the official watch party. And I also have to say for people at Santa Fe, I know that they have the sports books out there. And there are people who have an amazing amount of time. And you get to chat with people and watch as many games as possible. Now, getting into the official game stats for this game, the Vegas Golden Knights be outshot 30-15. So that's double the amount of shots Dallas took in this game. The hits, Vegas out-hit Dallas 56-33. So in terms of physicality, the Vegas Golden Knights kind of stepped up and outperformed Dallas, considering what the last series was last year. Vegas was really establishing the tone in terms of physicality. 2 penalties for each team. The Vegas Golden Knights were 2 for 2 on the penalty kill and 2 for 2 on the power play. Dallas was 0 for 2 on both categories there. In the faceoff circle, Dallas had a slight advantage here, a 55% winning percentage in the faceoff circle for the Dallas Stars. Now, the rest of the stats here with your Vegas Golden Knights game 1, the Vegas Golden Knights outperformed Dallas in 2 main categories. In terms of blocked shots, the Vegas Golden Knights had 20, Dallas had 15. And in terms of time of possession, the Vegas Golden Knights actually was able to kind of help the Vegas Golden Knights by taking care of what they needed to do. Now, the takeaway situation, Dallas did have 15 takeaways. The Vegas Golden Knights had 10 there. And what I really sit here and analyze as we're getting towards the end of the show, this was a team that, in terms of hits, I'm going to back up real quick, and I'm going to give credit to one guy. Nick Waugh had 8 hits in this game. Like, Nick Waugh is actually somebody that really didn't get enough credit in this game. He had 2 block shots, 8 hits, a takeaway. This is somebody who really did a solid job in this game for the Vegas Golden Knights. And he's not going to get enough credit. I understand that. But when it comes to Nick Waugh, I really appreciate what he did in this game. And I will sit here and say with Nick Waugh, this is a situation where this is a guy who, on a 4th-line center, normally those guys don't get enough credit to begin with. But overall, really good game by Nick Waugh. I mean, 8 hits. I know Barbashev had about 7 on the box score for him. Now, the player of the game, we've been doing this all year long. The player of the game for game 1 is Brayden McNabb for that elite goal in the second period. Helped establish the Vegas Golden Knights picking up the win and getting the final score and helped the Vegas Golden Knights wrap up this victory here. So Brayden McNabb, fantastic performance by him, and he gets your player of the game for game 1, Vegas Golden Knights, Dallas Stars. Now, for game 2, it's very important. For game 2, for your Vegas Golden Knights, we're going to do our recap at the exact same time here on PR Connections Radio. And put it on your calendar, bookmark it, whatever you got to do. But overall, your Vegas Golden Knights picked up the victory. Solid win here. And this has been a fantastic recap show for your Vegas Golden Knights. So until next time, I'm your host, Ian Rakelli. And continue watching hockey. Go support junior hockey. And go Knights, go.
PR Connections Radio thanks you for watching this podcast. Check out more episodes of this show and our others at prconnectionsradio.com.